Hey everybody, I'm back, and today I'm going to be updating you all on my appointment today at 9:30 this morning. So let's backtrack to last night. Last night I wasn't sleepy. When it was time to go to bed, I wasn't sleepy. So here's 12 o'clock. I'm still wide awake. I know. It's 1 o'clock. I'm still wide awake. 2 o'clock goes by. 3 o'clock goes by. I'm still wide awake. I ate a couple of Cheetos and I ate a banana cookie. I was drinking a large water bottle to make sure that I was getting my water in because they really have a hard time getting my IVs in. And they're like, lady, did you eat? Y'all know I told y'all last time that my husband told the lady she didn't eat, and the lady was like, you didn't. So I made sure I ate this morning. And I drank a whole lot of water, just maybe if I could plump the veins up. I don't know. I don't know if that's what you would call it, but you get the gist, right? So I must have fell asleep 3-something, I'm assuming. Come 5 o'clock, my little puppy, Polo, he jumps on me. And he's kind of pushing on me. And I'm thinking, what is he? Okay, first I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking, what is he doing? And then he's pushing on me. He's leaning on me on purpose. And I'm like, okay, he got to use the bathroom. Oh, yeah. They let us know. They let us know. So the next thing was he jumped down off the bed. He runs to the sunroom door. He's letting me know he wants to go out there. I want to go out and use the bathroom. I get up. I let both of them out. I said, y'all get out of here. Get the heck out of here. Let them out to use the bathroom. And then I put them back to bed. I go back to sleep. And that was 5-something. My alarm goes off at 6:15. I know I got to start getting ready. So, because I wanted to have some time to myself so I could drink some more water. I wanted to make sure I ate. My husband got me a McDonald's breakfast sandwich and I ate half of it. That's all I could eat, but I ate, right? And I was drinking some more water. I get to the appointment, y'all. And the lady's going over everything that we need to do. The iron that we're getting this time that I used to get years ago. She's like, we're doing it today. And she asks me, she says, now, you never had any allergic reaction to this one? I told her, I did one time. When I first went to that hospital, one time. And then once they figured out the 3 combination of the medicines to give me to prevent an allergic reaction, they'll give it to me, wait a half an hour, and then give me the iron on. Then I was good to go. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, so how you feeling about it? I told her, I just hope it works. But on the way in there, I spoke to God. And I said, God, please help me with this. Because I need this iron real bad. I said, Father, if you don't do it for me, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I meant that. Like, I really meant that. And so my husband said, how you feeling? I said, I'm okay. My husband said, this is going to work. Everything's going to work out. And I'm like, yeah, it will. So she said, well, here's what I've done for you. Because I'm such a hard stick when it comes to the getting the IV in, I mean, like, they struggle so much you wouldn't believe it. They have to get the PIC team or the infrared light or something. They got to get the X-ray machine to find my veins, for real. And even those people that specialize in doing it, they told me they're having a hard time. But anyways, this time when I got there, she says, I got the ER coming down. She said that I could hear somebody in the background answering the phone and they say, she's here, right? And I'm thinking, okay, they're talking about me. She's explaining that the ER's coming down and he's Gonna bring his machine and get the vein. She said, matter of fact, he's here. And I thought, oh, that was quick. You know, he was there right when I sat down. He's super nice, very talkative. And they was like, he's good. He's good. You're going to love him. And he said, oh, boy. He said, I don't know why they doing that. He said, because what if I don't get it? And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? But he was nice. He was nice. So I told him, I said, the last people said, go into my right arm. You're going to have to go super deep. He was like, oh, okay. And he tried once. It didn't work. He tried a second time. It didn't work. If my energy is low, it should be. Because I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. My hair ain't done. My hair is not done. And it does... my energy is gone today. But anyways, he tries the first time. It didn't work. And he's like, oh, ma'am, I'm sorry. Are you okay? I told him, I said, listen to me. I said, I'm not afraid of needles. Excuse me, y'all. I said, they don't hurt me. I said, I'm used to this. They usually have to stick me a bunch of times. I said, do whatever you got to do. That's what I told him. And I meant that. Like, you know, you can't explain nothing to me. Let's just do it. And if you don't get it, let's do it again. He's like, I'm going to do it again. In the meantime, he's trying to do the needle, and he's like, well, I'm sorry, ma'am. He said, I got to stop. My shoulder is hurting. I said, okay. Are you okay? Are you hurting? I said, no, I'm okay. I don't even feel it, because I didn't. And I don't. And it don't bother me. He tried a second time. He didn't get it. And so he's like, I'm going to move my machine. I'm going to try this other arm. So he moves everything around. He's swiveling my chair and this and that. And he goes over to the left arm. I'm left-handed. And it's like 2 minutes. He had it. Boom. And I thought, I could feel him putting the tape on. So I'm like, okay, he's got it. This is a good sign. And so the lady comes. She was awesome. And she says, let's start your pre-medications that would prevent any, what's it called? Allergic reaction, y'all. So she put the one in, you know, manually in this way. And she hung the other one up. She hung the Pepsid up. The Solumedrol, she started to put it in manually. And she hung up some saline. And right away, I could just feel like this ball right here. It's like my throat closing up. First of all, I get the taste of you could just taste the medicine. When you can taste the medicine, they say basically it's a good sign. That means they're in a good vein. And last time she gave it to me, which I have never had this reaction ever. When they give me the Solumedrol, they just push it in. They push it in slow, they say, because they can't go fast because it'll make you itch in your private area for some reason. So I made sure I told her, I said, push it in slow because I don't want to be itching. So she gets started, a big knot right here. Just makes me feel like everything's closing up. And then all of a sudden, my mouth started watering. She said, how you feeling? And I said, my mouth is watering. She stopped it right away. She said, okay, I stopped. And she's looking at me, you know, like, I'm looking at her and we looking at each other. And she starts to go again. She said, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just going to be strong. She continues to push it. And then I know she's done because she takes it out. She said, I'm done. In the meantime, I'm really trying like my hardest to hold back on throwing up. She said, but here's the trash can if you need it. When I sat down, I was looking for the trash can because last time I just grabbed it. I didn't ask nobody for one. I just grabbed it because I needed it. So just for a couple minutes, I kept feeling my mouth being watery. I'm like, I'm not going to throw up this time. I got this. I'm good. That's what I'm doing, you know. But really inside, I'm like, ooh, it's about to come out. I'm sorry for anybody that, you know, don't want to watch it. You could scroll on. But that's how I was feeling. I made it through. I didn't, you know, it didn't come up. And so she said, let's give it a few minutes. My husband went to get him some chips and something to drink from the vending machine or something, and he came and sat back down. She said, we're going to get started on your iron, excuse me, in a half an hour. In the meantime, the new doctor that I told you, he seems to be a nice gentleman, he came in. He said, I just want to take a peek in at you, see what you're looking at, and talk to them about how your morning went, and see how you doing, how you feeling. I said, good. I said, they said they're getting ready to start, you know, the iron. He's like, I'm right here if they need me. He was like, so don't worry, sit back and we'll see how things go. And he kind of tapped me on my shoulder and he spoke to my husband. And now comes the time and she's ready. And she hangs up the iron. And she's like, I'm getting ready to get started. She started talking to me just about, I don't know what she was talking to. She started to throw me off a little bit. I'm looking at her like, ain't nobody boo-boo the food, because I'm going to know when it go in, right? Because I told her too, I said, last time, I said, you tricked me last time. I said, you started talking to me about something, and I didn't even know the iron was started, right? And she kind of smirked and said something. She was like, I'll let you know. I said, you don't have to. I said, but you got me last time. I didn't even know. Because last time I started feeling funny, and then I looked up at that IV. I was like, yeah, I can't breathe. You know, it was the worst. So the iron starts to go. My husband is right there at my right, and the nurse is to my left. And you can see when the iron begins to go into the IV, because it's like a red, it's like bright red. And I looked at her. Sorry, y'all, my nose is itching. Somebody might be talking about me right now. I hope they're talking good about me. She's looking, and I'm looking at her. She said, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm good. I just I want this to work. All right? And my husband say something, and she say something. Now the iron is going in. I feel a little funny again. But I said, no, Mom, I'm gonna, you see that look that I'm doing right now? I'm gonna stick through this. And my husband had warned me. He said, now listen to me, baby. He said, I get what you're trying to say. He said, but soon as you start, you know, soon as you feel anything, let them know. Because when you can't breathe and you start feeling a certain way, we don't want it to get too bad. You got to let them know so they can handle the reaction and we can stop everything. So she turns around and says, well, seems to be going good, because this iron has never been in this long without us having to stop it. She said, how you feel? I said, okay. I'm looking at the red going in, and I say, I'm okay. She said, can I walk away? I said, yeah. I look at my husband. She's like, I ain't gonna be far. I mean, if anybody say my name, she said, I'm right here. And the desk, the nurse's desk is right in front of where they have me sitting like in front of the nurse's station. Not in the room. So she say, if you need anything, call me. I can see her keep looking. I'm looking at my husband. I tell my husband, I said, yes! I said, it's working. I said, I'm not having a reaction. Everything's clear right here. I can breathe. There's no tightening. My head's not hot like it's on fire or nothing. And so at this point, me and my husband is praising God. And then all of a sudden, half the bag get through. And my left arm where they done put the my left arm where they done put the IV in is hurting. Like right here, like where the muscle is. I told my husband, I said, my arm is tight. He said, what you mean? I said, my arm feel like it's tight. You know how they put the blood pressure cuff on you? That's what I was feeling like. I told my husband, I said, maybe they putting it in too fast because I didn't freaking know. And so here she comes. She can see us talking. I told her, I said, my arm is tight. She said, is it like, I can't remember what she said. She said muscle tightening or something like that. I told her, I said, it's hurting. I said, but it's okay because I want to get done with it, right? And she said, you sure? I said, yeah. I said, just right here. I said, my arm just feels super tight, like got a blood pressure cuff on it. And we looking at each other. You know, she's looking at us. I'm looking. But I want the bag to go through. Typically in the past, I have seen them give it to me slower. This one was like boom, ba-da, boom, ba-da, boom. I mean, it was going fast. So maybe that's what it was. Because what I was actually hoping, was that the IV didn't, what do they call it when the IV blows? Because that happens to me sometimes. They tell me my veins are deep. They're small and flat and they roll. They tell me I have like the worst veins. So I'm thinking, oh gosh, I'm like, the IV done blew. She looking at my arm. And as she's looking, she say, you're over half the way down with the bag. What do we need to do? Because your arm is hurting. I said, let's finish. I didn't know what to do. We finished. And she said, I'm going to keep you for a half an hour for observation. And, you know, just in case you were to have some type of odd reaction after you leave, you'll be here. And we think that a half an hour of watching you, you're going to be okay. So I was okay. And when it was time to leave, it was time to leave. So I'm thankful to God. I prayed. You guys prayed. Y'all were emailing me prayers. Everybody was messaging me, praying for me, and just loving on me. And I appreciate you guys, like from the bottom of my heart. But one thing I'm going to always do is let y'all know how I'm feeling and what's going on with me if something ever arises like this. And I think it's super important as a content creator to let you all know what's going on with me and how things are going, because y'all, you know, we become like family and y'all wonder like, hey, what's going on? You know, and when I have days where you don't see me on camera or whatever it might be, or I might not be looking good in my eyes because I don't feel good or something, you know. But I like to keep you guys updated on very important things like this. So really take my time to explain so everybody can understand. So the half an hour goes by and we get ready to go home. I told my husband, I said, I want White Castles. He said, you do? I said, yes. He said, there's one. He said, I know where there's one too. He said, you said you want it because I told you there was one out here. I said, I forgot. I said, but I want some. We get there. He said, what you want? And I said, I want a double cheeseburger. I want a plain castle. I said, I want an onion chip. I was hungry. And I got it, and it was so freaking good. I mean, I ate it in the car, washed my hands with some sanitizer, ate it in the car. And by the time I got home, my husband said, baby, lay down. He did. He said, don't be thinking about no videos. He did, because he knows me. He knows me. He said, don't be thinking about no videos. I said, yeah, baby, I got a video. Come get ready to make this. He said, I said, you need to lay down. You got a whole lot of medicine in you right now. And like, even like the pre-medicines and the iron, you still feel a little different once you get all that medicine in you. Like, it'll take a while before... I don't know, before some of those medicines wear off a little bit. So I came home, took my shoes off, and my husband fixed the couch up for me. He did in the living room. He said, baby, lay down for a while. And so I did. And I woke up. Let's see, I must have slept, let's see, maybe 4 or 5 hours. So here I am. It's evening time. I done took some pork chops out for dinner. I'm going to do some rice-a-roni and some green beans or something. That'll be dinner. And I might just throw them pork chops in the oven with some gravy. Do it that way. It'll be a very simple dinner. It's not going to be recorded, you know. This will be the video of the day. But I got some sleep. I'm still very tired. Now, she told me that the doctor has me planned to get 2 more irons, okay? But she said she would prefer me not to come there. And I really like the nurse. And I really like the doctor. I said, can I keep the same doctor? She said, yeah, you can even come and get your blood work here. I said, okay. She said, if you go there, she said, this is the reason why I'm telling you this. The gentleman that left, that came from the ER to do my IV, he said, because my iron infusions are scheduled for the next 2 Mondays. So Monday and then the Monday after that. He said, I'm not going to be there. He said, and if they're needed, like for an emergency over in the emergency room, they won't be able to come. So, and she said, none of their nurses or RNs or whatever, they all have a hard time sticking me. She said, so what we think is best is that you go to this facility, it's another facility, to get it done. She said, the reason why, she said, because they have a PIC team that specializes in the infrared light where they're using the machines. She said the door is literally next door to where you would get the infusion. She says, so you're going to get the infusion right here, and literally the next door that's right next to them, these are the people that specialize in doing the IVs that you need. She said, because she said, we actually feel bad when we have to keep sticking you and trying. She said, we know that you're a trooper and you'll say, it don't hurt, it's okay, try as much as you need. She said, but we feel bad about that. She said, so we're going to suggest that you go there to get your next ones done. She said, yes, you'll see us again because, you know, you're going to keep this doctor. I said, that's great. I said, I'll even come here to get my blood work. She's like, yeah, that's fine. All your appointments, you can come back here. She said, but to get the iron infusion, let's go there. She said, how you feel about this? She said, I'm going to let you make the decision, but we need to make a good one, you know. And so I looked at my husband because I wanted him to make the decision for me. And he walks away. He was doing something. He walks away. He said, baby, you make the decision. You know, because at this point, he's tired. He's tired too. And by the time he came back in before we left, I told him what the decision was. And he said, yeah, I'm fine with that. So next Monday, I have another one. And then the Monday after that, I have another one. And I'm so excited. It does take about, they always tell you, once you get your iron, it does take about 30 days to get in your system. My husband said it seems like, because I can't remember how long before I start feeling better once getting the iron. My husband says about 10 to 15 days. So we'll endure those days. And I'm thanking the good Lord today. And I'm okay. I'm tired, a little sluggish, and I can tell I had a bunch of medicine pumped in me, you know. But that's my update. That is my story. I'm super duper grateful. I'm definitely gonna get back in the realm of trying to figure out what surgery to get. So I don't need these iron infusions. These iron infusions it can be overwhelming, you know. But there is God is good. God is good, and he's real, and he answers prayers. And so right now, I'm just thankful. And thank y'all for watching. I love y'all. When I get off of here, I'm going to go lay down. So that's the update. And then Monday, I'll let you all know how everything else went. Until the next video, good night.